Audio Jungle.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another DDLive. It's been an interesting week. Nice to see all you people in here. Let me say my hellos. Chris Snyder, what's up, brother? Ozzy, Devrick, Grant. Devrick, I don't think I've seen you in here before. Everybody say welcome, Devrick. He might have been in here before. I'm not sure. Fractal, Ashton, Lucy. I see a couple new faces. Anthony Cheeseman. There you go. Gory Tiger, how you doing? High Ground Cantina. Nice stuff. Trina, how are you doing? Holly. Yeah. Deadhead, nice for a nice cold. What's everybody drinking? Vinny Lima. Freddie. Adrian James. I feel like I need like music going on around me. Usually I have this intro and I'll put like alternate music. It's like what music am I going to use? And today I just couldn't decide, so I was like, I'll just put in the default, right? The default. So, Marty McFly. Man. Blazing Asian. Did I say Blazing Asian? Speaking of Asians, I just reviewed Dream Home. Really, really good movie. Pretty crazy. The Dia Dream, how are you doing? Yeah. Nice to see all you people in here. Let me back this up a little bit. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting week for sure. Let me take a drink here. If you could put any two movies against each other and it's no big deal, and you'll get some replies. Let's just put it this way: when I have somewhat of a Twitter following, I think I got like 8,000 followers, something like that, and some change. So, I get a little tickled if I get like 100 likes or something like that on a tweet. Or can we call it tweet now? What do we call it? A post? That's stupid. Post. I'm still gonna call it a tweet, all right? But I blame myself. I blame myself, and I will admit up front, yeah, I probably mentioned Halloween Ends. Hey, the Stream Elements bot, cool. I probably mentioned Halloween Ends too much on Twitter. All right, if I need an intervention, go ahead and give me an intervention. All right, I probably mention it too much, and it's only because the not the movie itself, although I love the movie, but the reaction to the movie, the emotions that the movie creates. I find that interesting, and you don't see that too often in horror. You see it outside of horror, especially with like Star Wars and Marvel and all that stuff. But in horror, it usually doesn't cause this much of a ruckus, So anyway, I posted Scream 6 versus Halloween Ends. Which one do you prefer? Let me take a drink. By the way, I got a pretty packed show for you tonight. We can stretch our legs a little bit, but there's nothing crazy on the news front. But man, I missed you guys. Hey, Beth, there's Beth. I see her in there. Missed you guys. It's been like 2 weeks since the last time I talked to you guys, right? But yeah, I guess I'm gonna bumper this stream with the Scream and the Halloween. Just a little intro for you, and then we'll jump into some things, and then we'll jump back over to that, and I will give you my personal opinion why I prefer Halloween Ends over Scream 6. Not, No, not a big deal, right, guys? It's okay. It's not. It's nothing to go completely insane about. And I'll say this up front too. All right. On I'm gonna say Twitter. All right. On Twitter, if you see someone's opinion on any given movie, could be a movie that's like Seed of Chucky, or that's almost universally hated, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Don't be a dick. Like seriously, don't be a dick. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. If somebody loves a movie that you hate, you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to degrade that person. You don't have to say that person's has a low IQ, or you don't have to. I'm telling you guys, I got some freaking lashings over, and I will say, I'm not saying that like it was 50% lashings. All right, it was a small percentage. Even people that disliked the movie were pretty respectful. All right, I'm not here to say that there is this freaking movement of people that just hate people that like Halloween Ends. I'm not saying that at all, okay? I'm a big boy. I got pretty thick skin. It didn't bother me, okay? But I just kind of had an observation about the whole thing. Like, why would you do that? Why would you insult someone that, likes a movie that you don't like? It's a very strange thing. Like, before I got into YouTube, it was never an issue, and the obvious answer to that is because I didn't have a platform, and it was just me, maybe with tops 5 other guys. But nobody ever stated, "Hey, you like Halloween Resurrection? Oh, you're an idiot. I guess we can." I don't know if I want to be friends with you anymore. Can you imagine saying the stuff that idiots say on social media to people in your life, to your friends? Can you imagine, like Destiny, can you imagine one of your best friends, or just a casual friend, and that casual friend likes a movie that's completely on the opposite end of the spectrum for you? Can you imagine saying that to your friend, like, we can't be friends anymore? And as a matter of fact, I think you have a very low IQ, and how dare you like that movie? I can't imagine treating people like that. So it happened, but let me go here. Yeah. This is the tweet. This isn't me bragging. This is me kind of like shocked at the reaction to this. Like I said, I have about 8,000 followers on X. It's pretty respectable. It's not too bad. It doesn't matter if I have like 6 followers. It doesn't matter. But so normally, if I make a post, I'd say I range from like 20 likes to maybe 100 likes on a good day. Maybe 100 likes on a good day. So that post, you can see the engagement, the views, 313,000 views, 1,400 likes, and so on. And again, this isn't me bragging. I'm not like crazy about that or anything. I'm not like saying, yay, look, I got all these. No, it's Halloween Ends. That's not Drumdums. That's Halloween Ends and Scream 6, to be fair, and Scream 6. But that is the ruckus that can be caused over Halloween Ends. And I would even say Halloween Kills was pretty controversial. But man, Ends is another whole ball game. And I think that's power. When a movie has that type of power to strike a nerve, strike a chord in, I'd say, love and hate. Although I do, the people that hate it tend to be angry at the people that love it. I don't see people that love it being angry at the people that hate it, just for the mere fact of it being a movie and you don't like it. I mean, all of you guys could like or dislike or hate Halloween Ends, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me. I think that's cool. If anything, I love that we all have different opinions on movies, but rarely does a movie come along to bring forth this much anger in people. And I guess the reason being is the number one reason that I saw was just because it didn't give them what they wanted, you know? That's a fair complaint. Most of the complaints I saw was that Myers wasn't in the movie. And, yeah. And you know what? I mean, you could look at this. You got your freaking Friday Part 5. You got your Jason Goes to Hell. I'm talking about just movies that kind of step outside the norm of the franchise. Halloween 3, obviously. And Halloween 3 was far more outside of the franchise than Halloween Ends was. Okay? Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe they should have not had Myers in this movie at all. I don't know. But you couldn't make it part of a trilogy. So, I don't know. I could go down a freaking rabbit hole trying to decipher human behavior. Because, that's the thing that interests me about this is the anger. And like I said, on X, I had a few people in there that were, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly, but just some pretty harsh words, questioning my IQ, questioning why I could dare even like this movie, and then also comparing the two movies. There's no way in hell that Halloween Ends. Oh my God, my alarm just went off. It's time to wake up. Man, I set that alarm. I meant to set it for like 20 minutes because I like to get a little nap in. I set it for an hour and 20 minutes. Good thing I woke up when I did. But yeah, what I was saying was like, how dare you even put Halloween Ends against Scream 6? Out of all the movies, I could even understand if they said against the first Scream. Okay, I get that's a groundbreaking movie, very good, but you would swear that some people thought Scream 6 was like the Godfather of horror. Okay, and that's what I thought was interesting. I'm not here to say anybody's wrong for thinking that Scream 6 is better than Halloween Ends. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But like Holly said there, controversy, it always gets people talking. It always gets people talking. And maybe that's why every few streams I do like to talk about movies like Scream 6 and Halloween. Scream 6 does garner its fair share of chatter too. It does. And Scream 6 did piss some people off, okay? I mean, I saw Scream 6 for the third time, and this is what kind of prompted me to make this post, because I where's it at? I have my, here it is. Did you guys get this? The Scream 6 blue steelbook, 4K steelbook, beautiful cover. I hadn't watched this movie since the second time I saw it in the theater, and I was like, you know what? It's a nice time. It's been a good amount of time. Let's go ahead and watch Scream 6. I decided let's go ahead and watch Scream 6. Hadn't seen it since the theater. Didn't know what to expect, because if taking you back when I first saw this movie, if you saw my out of theater reaction, oh my God, it was weird. Because I was kind of like, was that the worst Scream movie I've ever seen? I was literally thinking that as I left the theater. I think I was just kind of in a fog, and you can definitely see it if you watch that video, that I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And from that, I got quite a bit of, what's the right word? Is it anger? I guess I did get some anger at me for, well, the anger came when I went and seen it the second time, after kind of letting it process a little bit. And it is Scream. This is a big property like Halloween. Scream is important to me, just like Halloween is. Any Halloween movie, I have to go see it twice. Any Scream movie, I have to go see it twice. When I went and saw it the second time, I enjoyed it. I guess that's the best way to put it. But I didn't, I wasn't like through the roof with it. I didn't think it was like amazing or anything. I had a good time with the movie. Okay. And I think Scream movies, you always watch them twice, or it's a different experience with the second watch, because you know who the killer is. Okay. And to cut me some slack, the first time I saw Scream 6, it's a lot to take in, because you got 3 killers in the end, and then you got 2 other killers in the beginning of the movie. And you're like, what the hell is going on? You know? So when I watched it the second time, I felt the need to sit down and talk to my audience about, hey guys, I just watched this movie the second time. Here are some things that I liked a little bit better. Here are some things that still annoyed me. And definitely the plot armor still annoyed the hell out of me. But I think the wound wasn't as heavy the second time. So what's it been like? Let's say 4 months since I watched the movie the second time. Didn't know what to expect going into this. I'd say it went down a little bit this time because, man, the plot armor really just stuck out to me again to such an annoying rate. And not just the plot armor, but also the open. Like, it starts off annoying me with Samara Weaving. Just the thought of her going in that alley, and some New York residents told me there are no alleys in New York. I've been in New York a couple of times, and maybe you're right because I'm sure you're right. You're from there, but I guess I don't remember any alleys in New York. But first off, it's Samara Weaving. She's like one of the most attractive creatures on the planet. Secondly, she's been talking to this guy for a while. It looks from the conversation, but how he was able to lure her in that alley, I was just like, there's no way she would go into that alley. But I put it aside. Let's enjoy the movie, and I definitely did like Jason, that guy Jason. I thought the opening was hella cool, actually, really cool. What's up, Jason? How are you doing? Born Slippy. So, I don't get me wrong. There are things about Scream 6 I still really enjoy. Love the location. Love that they did try to mix it up a little bit with I think I preferred the opening thing with the Jason and his roommate over the crazy Baileys in the end. I think the Baileys were just a little bit too out there, a little bit too weird for me, Plot armor. Jesus, the plot armor. This watch, I was just because I think what it was I was paying attention to each character this time. That supposedly was stabbed, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but every main character in Scream 6 was at least stabbed once. Most were stabbed multiple times. Okay, all core 4 were stabbed. I'm going to say multiple times. Gail was stabbed multiple times. And it's not just the fact that they were stabbed. I can let that pass, except for one, of course. We'll get to Chad. But Mindy, Mindy should have died. She should have died physically, but I think we needed a death in this movie. And I think Mindy would have been a really good death because she was the one giving all the rules. Which, by the way, her rules in this movie were complete bullshit because everything no one is safe. And I know they've done this in Scream 3 before. But no one is safe. Anyone could die. No one fucking died. No one died. Okay? The legacy characters, no, they're alive. The main cast, everyone's alive. I'm already getting annoyed just talking about the movie, okay? That's what I get for going to my Twitter right after. But I think Mindy should have died because she's the one making the rules. It would have been kind of there would have been an emotional punch there because Mindy's a great character. And, so she didn't die. But then, to make matters worse, at the end of the movie, she's just kind of walking around, lollygagging around the ambulance like nobody got hurt. And she just got stabbed in the stomach, I think 2 or 3 times. So that was crazy. And let me take a drink. Because we're going to get to the real one. Holy crap. Yes, Holly. Again, I love the locations in this movie. I think it's genius to put this on the subway. Having and by the way, guys, it's kind of like Where's Waldo? Have you guys ever tried to write down every single character that's on that subway Like, and I guarantee you, every time you watch the movie, you'll come up with a new. Like I noticed the bride from Better Ready or Not. This last watch, I noticed the bride from Ready or Not was on there, which is a nice little plug for Samara Weaving. But yeah, really cool. Chris, he says, what I don't get is why does Ethan call help for Mindy if the plan was to go to the hospital and make sure she didn't pull through? And you know what, Chris? That's one of about a dozen questions you could easily ask and pick apart with that final act reveal with the Crazy Baileys. It is, I mean, I think as far as like guys, tell me this. Out of all the Scream movies, which one has the biggest Scooby-Doo ending? Okay? And you can think about this, but which one has the biggest, because all Scream movies have kind of a Scooby-Doo ending, but which one has the crazy, like they've jumped the shark with Scooby-Doo endings, okay? You tell me, which one do you think has the biggest Scooby-Doo ending, all right? Okay. Chad. And because I was looking for a way for Chad to live on this last watch. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm nitpicking this. Maybe Chad could live, okay? And then when I watched that scene, I mean, he had the look of death on his face. Kudos to freaking Gooding. I can't remember his first name. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son, but I mean, his acting was phenomenal in the movie. I love Chad as a character. He should have died in that scene. You know what? Keep Mindy alive if you want to. Chad should have died in this movie. It would have been so much more of it would have actually solved a lot of problems in this movie as far as people's dislikes. I think a lot of people that complain about Scream 6, they probably would have got another, freaking fourth of their audience back if they would have. Yeah, Mason Gooding. Thank you, Chris. If they would have had Chad die. Just give us something. Like, you gave us Dewey in the last movie. And Dewey was stabbed, I think. I'll say maybe he was stabbed twice. It looked like Chad was stabbed like 18 freaking times. Like, I mean, he's got two killers. I mean, just boom, 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 back. And I mean, all over the guy's chest. I mean, just freaking destroying him. And he lived. And it's a movie. I know that. Did I have fun with Scream 6? Yes, I did. I don't regret ever watching it. Scream 6 doesn't have a dull scene in it, okay? There's a lot of fun to be had. I think, well, I guess I could say just like any other, if I watched any movie that had this much plot armor, oh my God, I would probably be a lot harder on it than I am on Scream 6. Because we hold Scream up to be so high. And I think Scream 6 had the most potential. We're getting out of Woodsboro. We're in New York. The setting is gorgeous. And one thing that I haven't really complained about is Sam and Tara. I really enjoyed both of them in Scream 6. So Scream 6 has some good stuff, all right? Halloween Ends, and guys, all right, I'm scared to even say the two words together because Jesus. But I do have a great audience anyway. So you guys, I mean, a lot of you guys don't like Halloween Ends. That's great, but you're respectful, all right? And I get why people don't like Halloween Ends, but it doesn't have. Let's just put it this way. Setting aside just the audience that likes or loves Halloween Ends, okay? I'm just talking about them. You have to admit, actually, let me say it this way. The audience that likes Halloween Ends and the audience that likes Scream 6, right? Because a lot of us like Scream 6. You have to admit that Halloween Ends, although it does have structural problems, it does have maybe some problems in the story department. But if you like the movie, you got to admit less problems than Scream 6. Less things to throw Skittles at, okay? As a story all its own, taking into consideration Michael Myers being in the movie not as much. In the context of the story, you have to admit that it's there's less problems. You can follow the plot all along. I think Michael Myers is actually pretty important to the movie. honestly, just because he represents evil on evil on its way down, and evil needing to leave a body that is pretty much at the end of its life, right? That's pretty much the whole point of Halloween Ends. And I think, and I'm noticing it now, I'm seeing people starting to come around to ends little by little. There are some that are going to hate ends till their dying day. I get that. That's completely fine, all right? It's part of the reason why I like it. I tend to like movies that have a divided audience, and this is my fault, but I tend to actually like them more when people, it's like when I'm on Twitter or I'm on social media or Facebook or whatever, the more you hate it, the more I love it. I can't help it. That's just the way I am. And I think the reason being is because I can pretty much defend every complaint against Halloween Ends from a story standpoint, I can't make you like the movie, nor would I ever want to make you like the movie. But I can explain it to you. And I've done it numerous times. I've had so many people send me questions about Halloween Ends. It's because of this, this, and this. That's exactly why this happened. Right? If you could even tie it back to the first movie sometimes, But I don't. It doesn't bother me if you don't like the movie. Just be respectful. We're all horror fans, and I love the horror community. I think 98% of the horror community is all good people who, we all have jobs. We go about our lives, and we all have opinions, and it's fine, So, God, I'm hungry. Jesus, should I eat this? All that talking made me really hungry. Oh man. So, yeah, I mean that's why I prefer Halloween Ends to Scream 6. That's it. It's no big deal. But man, some of the comments were just like, "Wow, ouch, that freaking stung." It's Scream 6. It's not Silence of the Lambs, right? It's not freaking Rosemary's Baby. It's not Jaws. It's not the first Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Yeah. I was going to bookend, but I got to talking and I couldn't stop, right? Yeah, I'm going to eat this. Hold on. I was at work and I had Panda Express, or I was going to have Panda Express for the first time today. The boss, he'll buy us lunch every Friday. Really cool thing to do. And I like trying new restaurants. And I've never eaten. Have you guys ever eaten at Panda Express? Devrick's getting hungry. Sorry, Devrick. Hey, have you guys ever eaten these? They're the Nature Valley sweet and salty nut. They're really good. Sweet and salty nut. I buy these in a 24 pack. And that's like my snack, I'll usually eat one after every, lunch and dinner. Yeah, I eat them after breakfast. Sometimes I have them for breakfast, Movie Maniac just ate Panda Express. I don't want to freaking, I don't like eating with my mouth right on the microphone. Did you guys have dinner? Are any of you eating dinner right now? Tell me what you're eating for dinner right now if you're eating dinner. Kevin had Wendy's. I did have some McDonald's today, actually. This is good, though. Okay. You know how I like asking you guys questions, right? I thought this would be interesting. Maybe this will mix it up a little bit. Let's do 2 movies, okay? 2 movies against 2 movies, all right? And I really think about this, okay? Don't go for one. I hate Halloween Ends so much that I can't get. I think you know where I'm going with this, all right? Just think about the answer first, okay? Before you answer it, all right? Beth's eating broccoli and chicken teriyaki. That sounds good. I was gonna get the chicken teriyaki from Panda Express, but I looked at the menu. It didn't look that good to me. Beth, have you ever had chicken teriyaki from Panda Express? And I usually love chicken teriyaki, but yeah. Chris says he just finished eating pizza, but it was really, But I was really considering Wendy's. You know, guys, I used to be a Wendy's nut. I used to eat Wendy's all the time because I loved their baked potato, and I would get their junior cheeseburgers. And something happened a couple years ago. Well, actually, nothing happened. I just stopped wanting Wendy's. It was the weirdest thing. But I will say, in Florida, we have like every restaurant, fast food, higher end. We have every restaurant known to man. You know, this is where I got hooked on like Tijuana Flats for tacos. But I find myself never wanting Wendy's anymore. It's really strange. And I still eat McDonald's from time to time, you know? I do love Culver's. Have you guys ever had Culver's burgers? Really good. Adrian James, do you like fish? Do you eat fish? Adrian, when I was growing up, like as a kid and a teenager, I grew up in Mississippi. And we used to go to this place. It was called the Tin Tom Catfish House, short for Tennessee Tom Bigby River. And it was like they literally, because they had this big lake behind the restaurant, and they would literally just pull the catfish right out of the lake and cook it. And man, the best, I do love catfish, okay? In-N-Out, man, Jason, I gotta say, I do like In-N-Out quite a bit, but I think the legend was built up just a little bit too much. And I still like it. Don't get me wrong. Like anytime I go to Vegas, I got to go to In-N-Out, you know, just to experience it. I do wish their fries were a little bit better, but the burgers are really good for sure. We have what's called BurgerFi. That's an F-I, BurgerFi down here. And I would compare BurgerFi to In-N-Out. Even the way they package their burgers is kind of like an In-N-Out burger, right? So, yeah. What was the question? I had to step away. Holly, thank you. She got me back on track. I didn't even ask the question. I started talking about food and that's it. Okay, here's the question. All right, here's the question. Halloween Kills and Ends. We're not talking about 2018. I'm talking about, put these two against each other. Kills and Ends versus Scream 5 and 6. All right, does that make it shift a little bit for you guys? Or is it the same as Ends and Scream 6? Okay, so you can just write Kills and Ends, or you can write 5 and 6 for Scream 5 and 6. All right, I'm curious to see what you guys think. All right, and I will say, it seems like depending on the social media platform, it's either Ends or it's Scream 6, because it seemed like on X, Twitter, it was much more Scream 6. But then I would go over to like Facebook, and I'd be surprised by so many people saying Ends. So it's like, why is that? Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird. Maybe there's a younger audience on Twitter. I don't know what it is, okay? So here we go. Polly says Kills and Ends. Kills and Ends. Halloween Ends. Kills all the way. Kills and Ends. I get every time I even say the word Kills, I want to watch Halloween Kills. I would say I can't tell you right now which movie I prefer, Kills or Ends. But the one I want to watch the most, I think, is Kills. I can throw in Kills like almost any old day, any old time, and just have a blast. I can even have it as background music. I love the score. I love the vibe of the movie. I love how brutal Myers is. If you want your brutal Myers, that's what Kills was. He didn't want to repeat himself in Ends. Let's make a different story. What if we had the evil leave Myers and go into a different person? And let's kind of explore that person for the movie. That's what I loved about Ends. I loved Corey as a character, you know? Watch it. I thought Rowan Campbell did such a great job. I have not seen Scream 5 and 6 one time on here. Is that just kind of showing you how great Kills is? You know? Rosemary says, I just had Kills on the background yesterday while I was cleaning. Yeah, I've done that before, Rosemary. I've literally been cleaning and I've had Kills on in the background. It's a comfort movie, you know? And I don't know about you guys. I crank it. When I put on Kills, I crank it. And the reason I crank it is because that music that comes on during the Universal logo, I get chills every time. It's just so like, I don't know, emotional? That's the word that I'm looking for. But man, I love that intro music. Well, the reason I said that, Kevin, was because Scream 5 is just, like, I'll say this right now. I prefer 6 over 5. And 5 commits far less crimes than 6, okay? I'm smacking. Hold on. And one point that I wanted to bring up was Dewey. I mean, if you compare Dewey to Chad, I mean, Dewey had it far easier as far as his death scenes than Chad did. I mean, Chad was like obliterated, and he lived. And you could say that Dewey's been stabbed before, but so is Chad. Chad was stabbed multiple times in Scream 5. So, maybe because they killed Dewey, I don't know. Maybe they have bigger plans for the core 4 going forward. But boy, me personally, boy, did they make a mistake only letting everybody live. Because I don't even, if you want everybody to live, that's fine. But write it so it makes fucking sense. Don't just freaking line everybody up on a firing line and shoot them with, an assault rifle over and over and then let them all walk away at the end. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it was like. Damn it. Let's see what J.C. Harris says. He says, I reset my brain again and watched Halloween 2018 Kills and Ends. It's refreshing to just act like those are the only ones made for the night. It changes things watching 78 Kills and Ends. I agree, JC. And here's a little experiment that I would like you to do, all right? And it might make you appreciate Ends a little bit more. It might soften the wound for those that hate it. I'm not saying you're going to like it, okay? I'm not trying to say that, but it might soften the wound, all right? I apologize for the smacking. I might even clip this out, this little portion right here, okay? Because I'm trying to tell you guys maybe a good way. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm not trying to get people to like the movie. I'm just saying the number one reason people don't like Ends is because it's different. It's like too different. And I agree with you. As a part of a David Gordon Green trilogy, I agree with you. I think maybe there should have been a different movie there. But the movie that they did put there that shouldn't have been there, I fucking loved, okay? That's the predicament that I'm in right now, people, okay? And I don't know what to do with myself, all right? But I did an experiment because I was thinking, what if I did this? Would this even make it better? I think some of you know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say, all right? Watch 78 and Halloween Ends. Skip 2018, skip Kills. Just watch those two movies together. Act like Michael Myers only exists in one movie. Well, and Ends, of course. But I think you will kind of appreciate, and maybe appreciate's the wrong word, but I think you will kind of understand the intention of Myers in Ends if you just watch 78 before it. Are there some plot holes that might be there? And I'm trying to think, are there? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I guess there would be, because at the beginning and she does talk about the events of slightly of Kills in 2018, but that's just like right at the very, very beginning. So if you were to do like a fan edit, you could actually cut that portion out and just talk about it being, 40 years later or 40, however many years later. And I think it can make Ends even better if it's possible, That would be my suggestion to you guys. Try it. Just try it. I think you might like it better that way. But I will say this. When I watched the trilogy together, 2018 Kills and Ends all together, even that way, I actually enjoy Ends more. Even though, so many people have a problem with Ends being so different. But if you really look at all three movies, 2018 is pretty much David Gordon Green making his John Carpenter movie. Okay, it's I wouldn't say it's a copy of the first movie, but it's a continuation of the first movie. It's the very definition of a requel. Okay, Kills is not 2018. I think it's quite different actually, and it introduces an element that has it ever been introduced in the franchise? The element of chaos and the entire town. They have introduced it a little bit in 4 when he had the lynch mob coming after Myers, but that was really small. This was like, and the entire town went crazy, went nuts. My point being, Kills is a very different film, I think, than 2018. Okay, even though it takes place on the same night, and Ends kind of shifts things around a bit, and I think it makes sense given that it takes place. Guys, is it 3 years after Kills? The events of Kills in 2018? It's either 3 or 4. I think it may be 4. But after 4 years, things would settle. And I always heard this big complaint about Laurie Strode and her approach to Michael. To just kind of, push him away. He doesn't exist anymore. It's a thought process. And I've heard some people say there's no way that would ever happen. But from a therapeutic and from a psychological standpoint, that is an actual technique that therapists use on clients. If one idea doesn't work, then this doesn't work. So we got to try something completely different. Okay. I tried to build this freaking fortress to fight against him. He still came back. It didn't work. I can't do that again, right? It would be redundant, and it could make matters even worse. So what do? He's gone. I'm not giving him power anymore. That is an actual technique that therapists use. Take away their power. Hell, freaking Nancy does it at the end of Nightmare, you know? Is it the smartest move? I guess that's debatable, but if it gives the person peace of mind, then I think it's a good thing, you know? So, yeah. Damn. All right, let me go back here. I'm having a blast with you guys. Jesus, we talked for an hour about Scream and Halloween, and I gave both their due, didn't I, guys? I talked for a good I might have even talked more about Scream 6 than I did Halloween Ends, all right? And what did we learn out of that? I like Scream 6. I have a good time with it, okay? Hell, I didn't even talk about the Crazy Baileys that much. That whole thing was ridiculous, okay? Do I really even need it? I mean, I've talked about the Crazy Baileys quite a bit in the past anyway, but there's where suspension of disbelief. For him to get away with all that is quite ridiculous, okay? We're not dealing with, and I know in Halloween, you can throw stuff at Myers, but Myers is, my opinion, a supernatural being. I think he's proved it. He's done things that mere mortals can't do, okay? Scream is not that type of world. Scream is human-based, okay? And for Bailey to pull off this extravagant game plan, no way in hell. There's no way in hell. Did I still have a good time with it? I guess. But it's definitely one of the worst killer reveals out of the franchise. You know, Scream's credit, guys, too. And I do like Scream quite a bit. All right. I think a lot of the scripts are pretty clever and interesting. And maybe the lesson here after the reveal in Scream 6 is to maybe get it back to basics a little bit. And I used to think, let's bring Stu back, but I don't know if I want that now because it might complicate things even more, right? So I don't know, but the killer reveals in the movies, all the way up to Scream 4, I really dug. I think Jill is a highly underrated final killer. I loved what Emma Roberts did with that character. Okay, I think there was just too many killers, and they kind of canceled each other out. Mikey Weiss, what's up, brother? How you doing? He says, "Hey man, hope you're doing well. Been watching all of the Masters of Horror. episodes lately. Have you seen John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns? I forgot how good that episode was. No, I haven't. And you know what? I've been actually trying to go through some of the John Carpenter movies that I haven't seen. Because there's a few, like I still haven't seen like Dark Star. And I still haven't seen, well, I just saw They Live for the first time, I think like last year. And I saw Someone's Watching Me, which I highly recommend, by the way, guys. I saw that one for the first time, I think, last year. But Cigarette Burns, I've heard of it, but I still haven't seen it yet. So I need to definitely put that on my list for sure. All right. Let's do some news. And by the way, guys, we're gonna talk suspension of disbelief tonight. I got some movies that I think can qualify for suspension of disbelief. I had to really do some like digging and rack my brain. It's kind of hard to come up with suspension, and I'm sure, but it's one of those like scenarios where if somebody tells you a suspension of disbelief scene, then you're like, how did I not even like see that? You know? I mean, I guess you could call it like, you might be able to find suspension of disbelief in movies that are like higher upper crust type movies, right? Like Silence of the Lambs. All right, Silence of the Lambs. I'll give you an example. When Lecter were they in a high school and he's on the gym and they got this like all these bars around him, and they did the old switcheroo, which the switcheroo should not be allowed anymore because the switcheroo, Halloween's done it. The switcheroo has been done 8,000 times, and that's probably not even the amount. All right, and they did the switcheroo, and in reality, would the switcheroo work? Maybe. And I'm not saying that makes the movie bad. Suspension of disbelief, sometimes it's just necessary. You know, sometimes you just need it to move the story forward, right? That's the purpose of it, I guess. So sometimes it can go too far, like what we just talked about with Scream 6. But sometimes I don't mind it. Right? But there's examples out there that we'll go over. But we'll do some news stories first. I don't think I have any funnies for you this week. I actually did, but I didn't have time to like load them up. I will say though, I could just kind of tell you this one because I thought this was funny. I saw this girl, she got catfished, but it's no ordinary catfish. She thought the guy was, let me take that off because we're not doing those topics. She was in this conversation with this guy online, right? And she thought the guy was the guy from Stranger Things. What's the good-looking guy? Dacre Montgomery. Dacre Montgomery, I think his name is. And she was like talking to this guy who she thought was Dacre Montgomery and so she ended up leaving her husband. And to make matters worse, she gave the guy like $10,000. You know, because she was just so sure that it was him. And of course, it wasn't Dacre Montgomery. It's like, what the fuck? So, catfishing, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. But, you know, catfishing's one thing. But to go that far, when you do a little, I think you could find out that it's not Dacre Montgomery with just a little bit of digging. Just a little bit of digging, right? Okay. All right. Let's go to news. Let me go over. Oh, it's not that one. Hold on. Now, did you guys hear that the movie Prey? Any fans of the movie Prey? What'd you guys think about Prey, the Predator movie? I hate when I can't freaking close that. That's gonna drive me nuts. All right. Well, Prey is getting released on 4K, and it's kind of surprising actually because usually movies that are just direct to streaming, like Netflix, they don't usually get an official release. I'm trying to pull up my thing here. Hold on. Is it that one? Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Now, there are some exceptions. I believe Stranger Things has gotten a physical media release. And by the way, guys, just a couple weeks ago, I was talking about physical media and how, just to catch you up, in Australia, what was it? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was the very last physical media title in Disney Australia. They're not going to do any more physical media going forward in Australia. Okay. And that's a bad sign of things to come. So to even get a physical media release for Prey is kind of shocking, if you ask me. But I mean, I'll get it day one just because I like owning the Predator movies. I like supporting physical media. I don't buy everything, but I loved Prey. And so it's getting a steelbook too. It says, over a year after debuting on Hulu, director Dan Trachtenberg's excellent horror movie Prey is finally being released on physical media. Bloody Disgusting has learned this morning. Prey will be released on 4K and Blu-ray on October 3rd, 2023. That's pretty close too. Are you guys getting ready for spooky season? I know Spirit Halloween just opened up like last week too. Best Buy will be getting a steelbook exclusive version of the release, and you'll find the artwork below. I don't see the... Oh, there it is. So look at that, guys. That's really nice artwork too. Now, I wonder if it's just getting a steelbook. I don't know, but I'm definitely getting this one. Day fucking one. Yeah, I loved Prey. I think Prey might be second or third best Predator movie. Where would you guys put it in your ranking? Would you put it, or would you put it like lower down? In the current climate we're in right now, and people get pissed off at strong women in movies, and I think this was a case where a few of the naysayers fell on their face, because before this movie came out, I already saw videos, like some of those channels do. They'll put out videos way before the actual movie's released, and they're just already shitting all over it like crazy. And I saw a few videos on Prey. They got a female antagonist against the Predator. It's gonna suck, whatever. Movie comes out, and for the most part, it was quite well received. And I just love when some of those asshole naysayers, they get it wrong and they fall on their face. I love that shit, because Prey was awesome. And you know what? The biggest complaints that they made about this, and I saw it after the movie came out, was they were saying that no woman that size could beat the Predator. It's not about size, it's about agility, it's about technique, it's about learning the ways of the Predator and how to fight him, and that's what she did. And it's about failing, which she failed quite a few times throughout the movie, but every time she failed, she learned something new. She pretty much did the same thing that Dutch did in the original Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger, as iconic and big as he is, he got his ass handed to him quite a few times by the Predator before he finally beat him. He figured out. That's what Predator is. Predator isn't like a hand-to-hand combat movie. It's not really that at all. It's more about wits. Because this is an animal that if you fought it hand-to-hand, you're going to get your ass handed to you every single time. Okay? You can't physically fight the Predator. And so that's what she had to do. And it's done beautifully. And it's sad that Shane Black's... I love Shane Black. I just watched The Nice Guys again recently. Freaking love that movie. I thought for sure the Predator was going to be excellent. And it started off really strong in the dialogue department, in the script department. But man, it just kind of falls on its face. So, yeah. That's the first news story. What the news this week isn't crazy, but here's another one for you. I know over in there was a French release of the David Gordon Green trilogy on Steelbook, and I know there's been some Steelbooks for these movies already. I have them. But this is one of those that has like the case and everything, and it's I think it's like a metal box or something like that. It's definitely tempting. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but it's definitely tempting. Although I don't like the cover for Kills. If you see there, the cover for Kills is just the house. I don't know about that. I don't know about the house, but and I doubt the special features are going to be any different. You know, we've been wanting that like alternate ending for 2018 forever. I don't think we're ever going to get it. Seems like it, but who knows? You know, we got the freaking producer's cut eventually, 19 years later, and this is just one scene. So, you know, I have quite a few copies of all three movies, so I don't think I'm going to be buying it unless it gets down to just like a really crazy good price. I don't think I need it. It's a beautiful looking set though, but yeah, like here's the. I just dropped one. Yeah, here's the Halloween Ends. I still haven't even opened it because I have 3 copies of Halloween Ends on 4K. But and so I don't want to open that. You know, it's too pretty. Love that cover though. Yeah. We got a couple of anniversaries, guys. Let me pull it up over here. We got a couple of anniversaries. And you know what? Let me close this. And let me close this. Here we go. Freddy versus Jason 20 years later. Can you believe it? Where were you 20 years ago? What were you doing in your life 20 years ago when Freddy versus Jason came out? I remember distinctly and specifically because I was in Korea at the time. I'd been in the military for about 10 years at the time. Or 11 years, actually. I was in the military 11 years, and I was in Korea. It's very common to get sent to Korea about halfway through your time in the military. Like if you're doing 20 years in the military, about halfway through, they say if you don't get Korea at a certain point, then you're dodging a bullet or you got somebody in your back pocket. I don't know. But I mean almost I got the orders in hand almost 10 years to the day of me being in the military, you know? So I guess I'm the textbook example of when you get hit for Korea. And 2003 actually had quite a few good movies that I wanted to see. And they did have a theater over there, but you had to wait like a few months before you could actually see the newer movies, you know? And I remember Freddy vs. Jason came out, and that's the one movie I wanted to see more than anything that year. Oh my God. They're putting Freddy and Jason against each other in a movie, and it looks to be pretty decent. You know, some money's behind this thing. Oh my God. I felt like I wanted to cry. It was... It was brutal. That was a tough one. And the same thing happened to me with Avengers in 2012. I was in Afghanistan. And guys, this was freaking Avengers. I wanted to see Avengers so freaking bad. I couldn't. It was funny enough, I got to be an extra in the Avengers. You can't see me, but I'm at the very beginning of the movie. I'm a shield guard. And they got me running around with a whole bunch of other shield guards. With Samuel L. Jackson was there. And it's the big evacuation where Loki like escapes and all that. I was there, but you can't see me. But I didn't get to be in the freaking movie though. I didn't get to see the freaking movie in the theater. You know, I remember I had to watch it on a we called them like Haji copies. You know, and yeah, it's one of those pirated copies where you see somebody stand up in the theater and they walk across. Drives you nuts. But even that, I still enjoyed it. But Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know if back then, I don't know. I'm sure they did. They had bootlegs, but I think I didn't even get to see it until it actually came out on DVD. And yeah, I really love Freddy vs. Jason though. It knows what it is. It's just really fun, and I can't believe it's been 20 years. Where does the time freaking go, people? I mean, just getting this movie made was kind of the stuff of Hollywood legend. Just how hard. I mean, there were so many pitches to get this movie made, probably hundreds of them. And to me, it's a miracle that the movie we got was able to A, be a decent movie, but B, kind of honor the backgrounds, the stories of Freddy and Jason. Their backgrounds still are intact in Freddy vs. Jason. No easy feat at all. So the fact that they were able to pull that off and have quite, I don't know if I want to use the word compelling, but interesting, fun, human characters in the movie around Freddy and Jason. No easy feat, I loved the cast in Freddy vs. Jason. Probably that cast with Monica Keena and God, what's her freaking name? Catherine Isabel in there. Jason Ritter, Brendan Fletcher. I mean, stacked freaking cast. And Brendan Fletcher has the distinct honor of being the only character to be legitimately killed by Freddy in the movie. So he wears that badge with pride. But that's a stacked cast, probably better than a lot of the single movies before. Funny enough, I think the sore spot of the movie is the actual fight. And the fight is fun, but it almost gets a little bit too cartoony, I guess. Yeah, Kelly Rowland. Thank you, Holly, from Destiny's Child. But yeah, it does get a little bit too cartoony with the final fight. But luckily, I really loved everything leading up to the final fight. And I think it was genius putting them together when they Freddy's pulled out of the dream world and then they're fighting in that cabin. That was great stuff. It's when they got to like the dock and I don't know. It's fun, but it got a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. Linderman was good too. Yes, Dave. Linderman was a lot of good characters in that movie, Yeah, it was a WWE match for sure. Oh my God. Tom Lundgren, what's up, man? He says, today me and my girl drove her son to Ohio to go to school. She cried most of the ride home till I pulled over doing 91 and a 70. Shake my head. The cop gave going 5 over, though. He was cool. Oh, that's cool. It's nice when you get a cop that doesn't like completely shaft you, right? And it's really nice when and like some of the ladies in here, they probably get a pass more than us guys, Just bat your eyes at them. Tell me, guys, do you usually get out of tickets, or are you just like every single time you're going to get a ticket no matter what? I'm about half and half. I'm always like, I don't move. I just kind of sit there. I'm very, very polite to the officer, and I think it's about half and half. As long as I'm not like doing, I guess what Tom was doing, like 90 and a 70, then I'm okay. But yeah, I've been lucky about half the time. That's right. So, let's see. Do I need to read this? Let me scan through it. Hold on. I don't even know if I need to read it. I mean, what are they gonna tell us anything that's like earth shattering about Freddy versus Jason? Probably not. And how long is this? No, we're not gonna read all that. I urge you guys to go read it all, but I don't want to read all that, right? It's going through all the... Hey, we'll look at the pictures, all right? There you go. Hey, guys. Did it really bother you that Kane Hodder wasn't Jason? There's Monica Keena. That's a good one. It's a good shot. Like, would it have made a difference to you if Kane Hodder would have played Jason? And I go back and forth with this question, And I actually did ask him that when I talked to Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder is a sweetheart of a guy. And I know it hurt him. It hurt him really, really bad. And I understand it. I'd be freaking hurt too. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, So I definitely get it. But I know he told me he was a little upset that Robert Englund didn't kind of step in and, give him some brownie points and say, hey, the fans want this. Why don't we get Kane in here? I think he was a little upset that Robert Englund didn't, have his back. And I understand that. Would it have made the movie better? You know what? I think because Kane's not my favorite Jason, but he definitely has a signature to his movements. And I'll say this. I think he would have been a better Jason than the Jason that was in the movie. Okay? But I think the Jason that's in the movie kind of served the purpose. He definitely has the size, And by the way, guys, before I met Kane, I thought he was shorter than he actually is. Kane's like 6'2". I was kind of surprised. I didn't realize he was that big. Kane is a big guy. He is 6'2". So he'd still be taller, much taller than Robert Englund, right? So I think he would have been great in the movie for sure. And it sucks because we'll never get that movie unless, he's probably, I don't know. Kane looks like he's still in really good shape, though. Kane could definitely pull off Jason again. But the problem is, I seriously don't think Robert Englund's ever going to play Freddy again. He's even stated it. And what was Jason Blum said he thinks he can get him to do it. But to me, it's like you got to have it all or none, I know that they can get strategic with how they use Robert Englund and Freddy in the movie and maybe have a stunt double for some of the shakier scenes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's happening, though. I definitely don't think it's happening. All right. Let's go one more. Let's see. Do I have another one? Oh, well, there's no news story, but we could talk about it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, guys. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is came out on this day, 1974. If we do our math there, that's 49 years. Which means I know that they started shooting the movie in July of 73. So they started shooting the movie 50 years ago. 50 years ago. So we can say that, right? But today is the day that it was released. And that's pretty damn cool, actually. That's pretty damn cool. I'm not going to go into... Because I know on one of my live streams, I think last year, I stated... I had this whole thing about which movie is better. Is it the remake or is it the original? And I rarely watch my own videos, but I was curious because sometimes you forget a lot of stuff you said, and this was over a year ago. I was like, I'll throw on the old the clip that I did about which is better, and I was like, damn, I was a little bit. I was a little bit over. I put it in my showcase playlist. You can see it on the main page if you want to watch it. But I was full of piss and vinegar on that day. I might have done a shot line of cocaine. I'm just kidding. I didn't. But wow, I was damn adamant that I remember one line I said was there are no facts in movie opinions except for one, and that one fact is that the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is better than the remake. That is a fact. I was like, damn, I was kind of arrogant. I was kind of being an asshole. I was kind of being that guy that I was complaining about at the beginning of the stream with opinions. So, but I was being silly. Okay. I was just being silly. If you like the remake better than the original, I get it. I completely understand because they're two completely different movies, which that's what a remake should do. I'll say this about the remake. I think the remake does exactly what a remake should do for any horror movie. Okay. Especially a horror movie that's iconic and great, But I think the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so freaking important, so groundbreaking, There was cinema before, and then there's after. Yeah, Grindhouse cinema existed before. I mean, you had Last House on the Left. I'd say Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a little bit more accessible, probably a lot more accessible than Last House on the Left. But even it's still very grindhouse in nature, very like drive-in theater in nature, not for everybody. And I'd even say the original it's not for non-horror fans. You know, it's a dyed-in-the-wool horror movie. And hey, it's 50 years now, and we're still, I think it's still just as relevant as it was back then. Maybe even more. You know, people, I mean, there's still almost nothing like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Even the sequels are kind of unlike the original. You know, and to me, that's special. You know, the original is a little bit dangerous. It has that vibe to it. Like they could go anywhere in this movie. It's like one step away from being a snuff film. That's what the original feels like. And the crazy thing is, there's very little blood in the movie, but it feels like, you know, the movie is just like bathed in blood. It's one of those movies where if you like don't watch anything, if you just listen to the movie, it's terrifying, you know? And that's just how great of a director Tobe Hooper was, I guess, you know? So, so that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Any questions? Shoot some questions at me. I rarely ever get time to have questions, but I don't have any oh, you know what? Never mind. Holy shit. I forgot to cover suspension of disbelief in horror. Okay? Theater of the mind. That's right, Polly. Okay, so let's do the suspension of disbelief, all right? I can take enough of my complaining off. Here we go. We'll take that off. All right. And let's see. We'll go with that. And then we'll take off. I think it's down here. Yeah. Take that off. Okay. I probably could have done a better job at finding titles for this. It was kind of tough. Guys, can you give me a movie? It doesn't even have to be horror if you don't want. Can you give me like a movie that has like some crazy suspension or just one scene that is like, no, there's no way that would happen. You know, it wouldn't play out like that. Suspension of disbelief. Can you think of any movies that have suspension of disbelief? I mean, horror's probably full of them. She wouldn't go in that house. They wouldn't split up. I mean, hell, just on those two things alone, you could probably drop 50 titles, you know? We've seen so many of these movies where, why are you going up those stairs? Why are you going in that house? They make fun of it in the first screen, you know? So I'm kind of ashamed of this list because it could be better. It could be better, but all the seasons of Pretty Little Liars. Well, I never watched Pretty Little Liars, okay? I might have saw it in passing, but yeah. So I did talk about this with Samara Weaving. I just don't think there's no way she'd go down that alley. On a first date? Now, if this was a guy that she had been dating for a while, they'd been on dates before, and then she knew him, she knew the situation, maybe. But I don't think, let's say that she's dating some guy. I don't think any guy would make her go down that alley. You know what I mean? Like, guys, if you're on a date with a girl, would you try to entice her to go down an alley to find you? Hell no. So there's like 6 different ways you can decipher this scene, and none of them are her going down that alley. You know? What would have happened in real life is she would be like, well, this is a first date. Do you want to go out on a date with me? Have you seen the way I look? If you really want to find me, you will find me. Okay? Troy, I've seen some people mention Barbarian before as being... Yeah, because there's no way she would keep going down in that house. She would get the hell out of there, right? I think I know what you're talking about. I loved Barbarian too, but yeah, it definitely. I agree for sure. Holly says, "I'm sure that girl that was catfished would go down that alley." Yeah, if Dacre Montgomery was down that alley, would you go down there, ladies? Maybe, but you'd have to know it, right? Like she would go down there though, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Kyle, what's up, man? Better late than never, right? Better late than never. Okay. Well, Kyle, you're on time because if you're wanting to catch the suspension of disbelief, because that was the first one, all right? All right. Here's the next one, and I'll tell you what. To make this fun, I'll let you guys tell me why you think. Give me the suspension of disbelief for this particular scene. Okay, this is Friday the 13th, Part 2, the very beginning. All right. So, what do you think is the suspension of disbelief in this scene? All right. And I'm going to crack my monster real quick. That's beef noodle hearty. Okay. All right, so for me, I'm thinking, first off, this is supposed to take place, I think 2 years after the first, or maybe even a year after the first Friday. Jason has went from being a child to a full-grown adult. So there's definitely a time difference that is a mess. CJ says Jason is still alive. He's not wrong. The head in the refrigerator. Yeah, I guess because that would mean Jason had gotten there before and he put the head in the refrigerator. I don't know. So there's just a lot that doesn't add up about this scene, but they had. And I think, if I remember correctly, and I wish I would have asked her this when I saw her at the convention last year. Adrian, is that right? Is her name Adrian? Boy, she was a sweetheart and a half. One of the nicest freaking celebrities I have ever met. Right? She was amazing. Loved her to death. But I think she was stating that when she arrived on set, she didn't know that her character was going to die. What's up, Chester? If I remember correctly, and you guys can do some digging on that, but I think she did not know her character was going to die. She didn't know how long she was going to be in the movie. Okay? But, yeah, my suspension of disbelief for this scene is just that, A, Jason is a full-grown adult, and he was a child in the previous. B, how the hell does Jason find her? Jason is kind of a mongoloid. He's not really intelligent. I don't even know if he can drive a car. Have we ever seen Jason drive a car? I don't think so. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. So for him to find her, it ain't happening. Okay? All right, here's the next one. Here's the next one. You tell me, all right? You tell me. Because maybe I'm wrong, all right? Because sometimes I'm not always right. Fast and the Furious 9, when a car can shoot off into space. Man, man, that is the suspension of disbelief franchise. Like, wow. When you jump from a bridge, I think, and then he jumps from the top of a car because she flies out of the helicopter, and so he has to like intercept her, and then his body like lands back first against the front windshield of the car. Yeah, that'll work, right? But yeah, this is The Descent Part 2. I don't like this movie at all. And I should like the movie because it's kind of the same movie as the first movie. But all the emotion is sucked right out of it. And B, it's just preposterous. Because there's no way in hell she would ever go back down in that freaking cave. No way, no how. I've seen some people say the cops made her go down there. I'll have to go back and rewatch it. But no cop is going to make a victim go back down in a cave. It ain't going to happen. No way. No way in hell. They're going to do the work themselves. Cops don't let civilians do their work for them. Especially when that civilian came out of a cave and she had physical and mental damage done to her. No way in hell. But they kind of had to do it, or otherwise you don't have a second movie, right? I think pretty soon they will combine Transformers with Fast and the Furious. So, okay, next one. Okay, this is another one from Friday Part 2. I just put this on here because it's really funny. And Robbie Sobel on Killer Flicks, He said, Vicky, and this is just funny, okay? Vicky and Friday Part 2. As a guy, I could be completely wrong here, but what girl is going to wear poo-colored panties to bang a dude? Those are your underwear of choice? I call BS on this one. Wow. You know, and I'll never see this movie the same after he posted this, because I never really thought about the color of her panties in the movie. I guess that's a testament to the movie because I was into, you know, the suspense and what was going on. But, I guess they were brown panties. Like, who wears brown panties? I don't know. Okay. Next one. Okay, here's a big one. This is one that a lot of people have a problem with, okay? And I think I've defended it before, but I'm done. You're probably right. You're probably right. Okay. Tivoli. No way the townspeople would believe that this guy would be Michael Myers. And you know what? The more I think about it, I think you're right. I think you're right. I can't imagine him killing the number of people that Michael Myers has killed, right? There's just no way. Even if, you know, the defense I was making was that, yeah, the people of Haddonfield, they had never seen Michael Myers. I don't think they did, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Did they ever even see Myers, the ones that lived? Because usually if you see Myers, then you're probably going to die, right? But even if they'd never seen Myers, to buy that this guy did all that killing, I guess I can't argue with you. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And as much as I love Halloween Kills, I got to call a spade, all right? So, now somebody mentioned this one on Killer Flicks. This is an interesting one. Basic Instinct, and this is something I never really thought about, but an interrogation scene would never be done in this setting. That's what they were saying. And the more I think about it, yeah, I think you're right. Because, like, I don't think they would let her have the upper. I think it would more be one-on-one or maybe two-on-one. But even like the way it's set up, it would be in a closed room environment, sitting across a table. They wouldn't have the person in a chair with almost like a firing line in front of her, you know? But, man, talk about a freaking iconic scene. Wow. Basic Instinct. Man, this movie kicked off the erotic thriller subgenre in a big way. And after this movie came out, there were so many freaking ripoffs of it and copies of it. Some good, some not so good. Like you had Sliver, another movie with Sharon Stone. But most of them were bad. I think even like Cindy Crawford tried to do one with Billy Baldwin. Fair Game, I think it was called. Yeah. Plus, back then in the 90s, you would have these like love scenes, you know, these erotic love scenes. Even if the movie wasn't classified as an erotic thriller, you would still have movies. What's up, Sebastian? You would still have movies. They would try to slide in like a sex scene. You know, perfect example, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, he would do a sex scene in like every movie he did in the 90s. And I think he at his request. I don't know that. I don't know for sure. But I remember there was a story about Jean-Claude Van Damme where he was on the set of Friends. And I think it was Courtney Cox. She had to kiss him in a scene. And then after, she said to whoever's directing the scene, hey, could you tell him to not put his tongue in my mouth? And so then later she's talking to like Rachel, Jennifer Aniston. And Jennifer Aniston had the same exact situation. She had to ask the director, could you please tell Jean-Claude Van Damme, keep his goddamn tongue out of my mouth? He was a player, though. But Basic Instinct. Yeah. Ashley, what's up? How are you doing? Basic Instinct. I love this. I have it on VHS back there, actually. Love this movie to death. I saw it in the theater when it came out. It was, I guess Basic Instinct was getting the coverage kind of like Barbie does today. You know, two very different movies, of course. But Basic Instinct is definitely better. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Stirring the pot. Damn it. But yeah. That's the suspension of disbelief. But sometimes you have to have suspension of disbelief to make a memorable scene. You know, like this is one of the most important scenes in the movie. Okay? Now, a little tidbit about this scene too is I know, and if you've seen this movie, you know that she literally opens her legs and the camera is boom right there and it shows it. Sharon Stone did not know that they were filming this. And she didn't know until she saw the movie in the theater at the premiere. And she went up to the director, Paul Verhoeven, and she slapped him right in the face after. How dare you? But you know what? Not saying it's right. That was wrong. But she should have known for sure. She definitely should have known. But Basic Instinct made Sharon Stone a household name for sure. Okay, next one. Here you go. Fuck no. Hell no. I'm not going down. Why in the hell? Why are you in this situation? Are you this stupid? What's wrong with white people? Okay, I'm just going to say it. Elephant in the room. Black people would not be going down that thing, okay? That's all. That's white people stupidity. That's what that is. I can say that because I'm white, all right? That's stupidity right there. Jesus. No way. And the guy had been freaking chasing them all day, all right? They see him hauling bodies down there. Is it the right thing? Yeah, they're trying to save a person. But if you see like a dead body being thrown down there, I'm calling the cops. I'll stand by if I need to and watch the cops go in. But I'm not freaking going down there. Hell no. Hell no. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that, man. I was hoping you would bring this scene up. Yeah. Holly, I can't take credit for this, though. Somebody did bring this up to me, I think. Maybe on YouTube, one of my YouTube comments. Or it might have been in Killer Flicks. But it like jumped right out. It was like, thank you. That's a great example right there. But you don't have a movie if they don't go down that freaking pipe, that culvert, right? You don't have a movie, so sometimes it's got to be done. You know, this is why, talking about suspension of disbelief, this is why the plot of A Nightmare on Elm Street is so freaking genius. Genius, because you can wipe away pretty much all suspension of disbelief once you're in the dream world. Because we don't really have control over what we do, at least to the extent that we do in the real world, you know. Probably not at all in the dream world. So once Freddy gets you in the dream world, I mean, he can maneuver you wherever he wants. He's not there to kill you, at least not at first. He wants to just play, you know? So you can get around all that suspension of disbelief stuff in the dream world for sure. Derry deserves this. This situation could have been avoided. Thank you, Freddy. Yeah, thank you. I'd be like Clark Griswold and say, roll him up. God, I freaking love. By the way, I was watching a video today because, you know, you go down a YouTube rabbit hole. And I was watching a video today. Speaking of National Lampoon's Vacation, there was this guy, he goes to filming locations. And he went to Cousin Eddie's house. Have you guys seen this video? And he goes up to knock on the door. And then the camera cuts. And then in the next shot, he's like, okay, that was a bad idea. The guy was like not having it at all. And so when he's talking about this, he's parked, let's say 100 feet away from the house. Like you could still see the house. And as he's talking, you see the truck. Like it's a dirt road. You know, Cousin Eddie's house. First National Lampoon's Vacation. You see the dirt spin, the truck spin out on the dirt road and start coming towards the guy. And he says, this is my property. Get the fuck off my property. You're not welcome here. And it was like a whole scene. And I thought this was going to be like clickbait because 90% of YouTube videos are clickbait. Not to say things don't happen, but they're not as drastic or as dramatic as the clickbait would make it out to be. This was as dramatic, and it was very refreshing. I was like, thank God I finally found a video it actually delivers in terms of the clickbait. Yeah, so thought I had to mention that. Okay, next one. And this guy on Twitter, I had to include this. Michael Myers having those eyes in H2O, because in Halloween 2 is canon for H2O, right? And what happened in Halloween 2, guys? Laurie shoots Myers in both fucking eyes. Okay? So, does he look like he's been shot in both eyes in that mask? Absolutely not. So, it's ridiculous. And it's not something I think about too often because it's just, I don't really hate the mask, but I hate, I guess, the use of the mask. They should have covered, the black eyes, I think, would have suited H2O so much better. I don't really care for Myers in the movie, but if they would have given him a better look, it's a good fucking start. So that's a big reason why I get so annoyed with H2O. I don't like the way Myers looks. I don't like the way he walks. That's not Michael Myers. It's not, okay? It's not. I can't either, Ashley. I just can't. Every time that's the thing too. Maybe that's why I don't like H2O, because when I'm watching any movie, I want to be like really sucked into a world, And I don't want to come out of that world until the end of the movie. But when you get to something, and Myers is so important to me in all these movies, and when you see him looking like that, it completely just takes you out of it. You're not immersed in that world anymore. It's make-believe, and I want to believe it. I want to be in it, and that's why I can never do it. Sebastian, Lee, do you usually skip this one? I do. I will say this. I watch H2O far less than I watch most of the Halloween movies. And I could actually do like a ranking of Halloween movies that I watch the most, because it wouldn't be the same as the movies I like the most. And the movies I watch the most are definitely one. Let's see if I could do it in order for you. Okay, I'll do it in order for you, because I don't watch 2 as much as I watch some of the others. Okay, even though I do really like 2. So I say I watch 1, and then I watch probably 4 and 6. I watch both those like constantly. And I probably put Halloween Kills and Ends, because lately I've been watching those like insanely. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I constantly watch that one. I guess it is kind of close to my ranking. Probably then like H2, H3, 5. I do watch 5 quite a bit. So 5 probably moves up farther than my normal ranking, because I do watch it quite a bit. I do love, there's something about 5 that's just so fun to watch, and you can like make fun of it. It's got some bad stuff in it, but it's still highly rewatchable. Okay. But, H2O is one of those that I definitely probably watch the least. H2O Resurrection, I rarely ever watch. I just don't have a good time with Resurrection at all. Okay. Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first one, I rarely ever watch it. I don't like that first movie. It's funny. I love his second movie. It just feels like a different world, Whereas the kind of like Ends, right? Maybe that's why those 2 movies are so divisive, because to me, they feel like a different world, and I love that. So, but yeah. And H2O's got some fun stuff in it. And Laurie's great. I'd even say Laurie's better in H2O than she is in Halloween 2018. But damn, Myers is freaking awesome in Halloween 2018. So, yeah. Did I leave any out? I think that was it, yeah. Okay. I really talked at length about Chad, so I don't think I need to like repeat all that. I pretty much ripped right into the whole scene when we were talking about it earlier. and I don't want to be redundant. So, but it is just goddamn ridiculous. Okay, I'll say that right now. And this is the number one biggest suspension of disbelief scene I've ever seen. I'm sure there's others, but I don't know. In the real world, there's no magic. There's no like freaking creatures and shit like that. You know, no way in hell. No way in hell. Okay. Given, I guess, you know, I will say this right now too, guys. To be fair, we're human beings. Are there stories of people surviving things that normally you wouldn't survive? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's not just Chad surviving that. Like, if Chad was the only person stabbed in this movie, then I probably wouldn't have as big of a problem with it if he lived. But given that every freaking character in the movie was stabbed like a Ginsu knife constantly, it just poured more salt on the wound. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. It just poured so much more salt on the wound. And Freddy, yes, he does look a little bit like Cotton Weary there. Okay, but yeah, so that's why it gets the number one. All right, so I'll give you 7 minutes, guys. I got 7 minutes. What questions you got for me? Okay, if you got any questions, let me know. Let me know. Man, I had such a good, you know, I'm not gonna lie either. For some reason, I was really nervous today. My nerves were I do get like, I don't have panic attacks, but I get a little anxious on my live stream days for some reason. I guess because I expect too much of myself. I want to give you guys like the best show that I can. I want to be prepared. I guess that's what I'm saying, you know? That's why I pushed it back 50 minutes, because I'm not starting until I have everything lined up. But, man, you guys always put me at ease, like, almost immediately. Every time I start doing these things, it's just like I can... All that stress and everything, it just, like, falls right off of me as soon as I start talking with you guys, you know? Because you always give me the feedback and everything, and we have a good time. And, yeah. Sebastian, Drumdums, I missed the whole beginning of the stream. What happened to you on Twitter? To give you the quick down and dirty, nothing crazy. It wasn't like bad or anything. It was just, what I was talking about was, I didn't expect the engagement I got with that tweet. I'll show you again real quick since it's here. Yeah, it was this tweet right here. I was basically this tweet, like for me anyway, it kind of went crazy on Twitter, and I was getting a lot of nasty comments for even dare saying what I did about Halloween Ends. To be fair, I said Halloween Ends better than Scream 6 the more I think about it by a country mile, okay? I think that's what got people, and I didn't even say this, but there was a guy on TikTok that has quite a massive following, much bigger than my following on here. And he made a video and posted this tweet on his TikTok. And he was really respectful about it, though. But he was just saying, you know, there's opinions, and then and he was basically saying there's no way in hell that Halloween Ends is better than Scream 6 by a country mile. You know, and you know, he believes that, and that's fine, but he wasn't disrespectful or anything. So I didn't get upset by that at all. The funny thing is, if I can tell you, that guy that some of you might have seen the TikTok video, and he doesn't even know this. That guy that did that TikTok video, I guess he lives here in Orlando, but when I came out of Talk to Me, that movie Talk to Me, he was standing outside the theater, and he wanted my out-of-theater reaction. So he recorded my out-of-theater reaction, and he uploaded it as a TikTok video. Little did he know that I'm the guy that posted the tweet. So on the TikTok, I did comment something on there. I don't even know if I haven't checked. I don't even know if he saw it, but I'm the guy. Yeah. So I've literally been in two of the guy's videos without him. He doesn't even know that I was in the other video. So... But yeah, he wasn't like on a lynching of me or anything like that. It was you know, good spirited. It's horror conversation, and you know what? if anything, it's content. I get that. I get making content, right? So that's why I don't hold any ill will towards him. He was respectful. And, it's great for his channel, right? It's great for his channel. And, hey, I guess it's kind of good for mine, too, because I got a lot of interaction off of this thing. So, it was just an interesting thing to just human behavior. That's what it was. Why do people get so riled up about certain movies, right? There's disliking a movie, and then there's just absolutely not only hating a movie, but judging others for liking said movie. Like, I've never judged anybody for liking a movie I didn't like. That's ridiculous, So, Holly says she wants to know when the next D-Watch is going to be. A lot of people liked that Halloween Ends D-Watch, and that was kind of a nice surprise. And it had been a while since I did one. So, I kind of want to do one again really soon because it was really fun the last time. So, you know what, Holly? Just maybe I'll do one on Sunday because Sunday I got the house to myself. Maybe I'll post some ideas out to you guys, or you can throw some ideas at me. If you want right now, what is a movie you would love me to do a D-Watch for? Okay. And I can tell you right now, I've done like the big three. I've done quite a few of the movies on the big three. So, I've done I've been doing D-Watches for freaking 8 years. I did like The Descent. I did It Follows. I've done so many of them. So it's always fun when I get feedback from you guys on what movies you would like me to. I did Commando one time, even. That's like one of my first ones I did. I can tell you the D-Watch is kind of started by accident. Because I remember when I first started my channel, it was a couple months in, and it was close to October, and I'm a Halloween fan, and I thought, hey, I was off work one day, and I had the house to myself, and I was like, I want to do a Halloween marathon. I want to see how many Halloween movies I can watch in a row. And then I got this thought. I was like, hey, why don't I freaking turn the camera on? And that's kind of how D-Watches started. I'd turn the camera on like maybe for a couple minutes for each movie. And as time went on, and the more and more I would do them, I started doing like hour-long episodes of just like single movies, So I'd go back, and I think there's a couple movies I've done like a couple D-Watch. Like I did a D-Watch on Halloween 2018 and Kills, and then I did a separate video doing both of them. I did like a double feature. So, The Exorcist. Boy, that would be a heavy D-Watch right there. Exorcist 3. Last Action Hero D-Watch. It's funny, Kevin. I just rewatched half of Last Action Hero because it was on Netflix, probably a month ago. And because before I watched it, I thought, I don't understand why this movie bombed so bad. It's pretty much just any other Schwarzenegger action movie. Then I watched it, and about halfway through, I started realizing why the movie did so bad, because it's horrible. It's like an idea that's great, but like, what do you do with the idea? It started off strong, but then it just kind of peters out, So, Kevin likes the movie. I'm glad you love the movie. I like the movie, but I don't love the movie at all. I think it's front loaded with the best stuff for sure. So maybe I'll do The Exorcist then. A lot of you guys are saying The Exorcist. Ooh, Trick or Treat would be good too. Damn it. 86. Well, yeah, I'll save Trick or Treat for Halloween season. That's a good idea. Thanks, Chris. Damn. I do love watching The Exorcist every few years. Maybe I'll do The Exorcist. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do The Exorcist, all right? Sunday, I will do The Exorcist for a D-Watch. Damn. That's heavy. Okay, it's going to be heavy, guys, all right? Jesus. All right, guys. That is another DDLive of the room. I can't. I just can't. I did not. All right. Anyway, guys, take